Tonight, I finally found 3 chilling stories. 3 lockdowns that started like any other school day, but ended in pure fear. Stay until the end. You'll never look at your classroom the same way again. It was a Friday afternoon, 7th period. The clock ticked slower than ever, as if time itself wanted to keep us trapped inside that classroom. The week was almost over. Spring break was just around the corner. You could feel the tension. Students tapping pencils, shifting in their chairs, staring at the windows as the last bits of sunlight crept across the floor. We thought it would be another uneventful class. No tests, no homework, just waiting out the final bell. Our teacher, Mr. Raymond, was the relaxed type, the kind who let us laugh and breathe. He rolled his chair to the computer, pulling up a trivia game on the projector. Brand logos flashed across the screen. Simple distractions. The room filled with laughter and light chatter. For a moment, life felt normal, safe. Then it happened. The intercom clicked on. The sound alone was enough to cut through our voices like a knife. And then, his voice, the dean, but not the steady, calm tone we were used to. This was different, shaky, panicked, each word pushed through ragged breaths.
This is not a drill. Go into lockdown. Now.
Goosebumps raced up my arms. The laughter vanished. The air grew heavy, pressing down on us. Even Mr. Raymond froze, his smile evaporating as his face turned pale. For the first time all year, I saw fear in his eyes. He leapt from his chair, rushing to the light switch. With a snap, the room plunged into shadow. Only thin beams of sunlight bled through the blinds, striping the walls in eerie orange lines.
Back corner now.
Chairs scraped against the floor as we scrambled, our shoes squeaking against the tiles. We pressed together, shoulder to shoulder, trying to breathe quietly as possible. My chest rose and fell like a drum, but every breath felt deafening. Then, the low hum of the fluorescent lights died completely. The power was cut. Silence swallowed the room. At first, it was only silence, the kind that makes your ears ring. Then came the footsteps. Slow, uneven, heavy against the linoleum floors of the hallway. And then, the scream. It wasn't a human scream. It was jagged, shredded, the sound of someone tearing their throat apart with rage. Lockers clanged as fists slammed against them. Metal groaned, echoing down the hall. And then came the words.
You shouldn't have come here.
The voice was deep, raw, unhinged. It didn't sound like a threat. It sounded like a promise. The 2 girls beside me started to cry. Their muffled sobs only seemed to feed the madness outside. The footsteps grew closer. The banging shifted from lockers to our door. The entire door shuddered. The glass rattled in its frame.
Open up.
His voice vibrated through the walls, drilling into our skulls. One girl couldn't hold it in anymore. She screamed, a sharp, piercing sound. The pounding grew louder, faster. The hinges groaned under the assault. I pressed my back against the wall, clutching my knees, praying to a God I wasn't sure I believed in. Every second stretched. Every slam felt like it would be the last. And then, silence. The pounding stopped. For a moment, all we could hear was the sound of our own breaths, sharp and uneven. I dared to glance at the door, half expecting it to burst open. Then, footsteps again, fading this time, moving further down the hall. We didn't move. We didn't even breathe. We waited. 5 minutes. 10. It felt like hours. Every creak of the building made us jump. The sound of a locker closing somewhere far away sent shivers up our spines. Finally, the intercom crackled. The dean's voice returned, still shaking, but calmer now.
A man, unstable, entered the building. He attacked the front desk clerk before she escaped. We don't know if he's armed. Staff searched, but he slipped away.
We were told to stay put, doors locked, lessons resumed. But none of us could focus. Not after hearing his voice. Not after feeling the door shake under his fists. That night, hours after we'd gone home, one of the janitors made a discovery. In a dark storage closet at the far end of the school, he found the man asleep. The janitor panicked. Maybe he left the door open. Maybe he made a noise. But by the time the police arrived, the closet was empty. The man was gone. To this day, no one knows what became of him. But sometimes when I think back to that night, I can still hear it. The pounding, the fists on the door, and that promise whispered through the hallways.
You shouldn't have come here.
It was October. Rain hammered the roof. Steam rose from the pavement outside. First lunch. Trays clattered. Voices rose. The cafeteria smelled of pizza and cheap coffee. We were noisy and warm. We were safe. Or so we thought. Then, 4 sharp bangs. Sudden, explosive. For a second, I thought it was thunder, but thunder doesn't make people scream. Campus security charged through, faces tight, voices sharp.
Into the multi-purpose room, now.
This way, keep going.
We dropped trays, people shoved. The line at the lunch counter dissolved into chaos. We were packed tight in the multi-purpose room, hundreds of us. The buzzing lights made everything feel thin and brittle. Curtains were slammed across the back glass wall. Adults blocked the doors. No one could leave. We whispered, questions ricocheted. What happened? Is here? The adults gave clipped answers. Rumors fed rumors. Whispers spread like wildfire, faster than truth. Eric came back pale. He couldn't meet our eyes. He said the words too fast.
There's a man outside. He barricaded himself. He said he'll end it all and take cops with him.
Then someone said it quietly, like a knife.
He'd been watching kids for months. standing at a window, following the bus drop-off.
That piece of information landed like a stone. Brandy told us about last Halloween. She'd seen him at his window. His arm was bleeding. She said he'd been writing on the glass, words dark and raw. She read it once.
Don't come here.
She'd laughed then, thought it a show, a joke. We sat for an hour. Chairs creaked. Cell phones glowed like small moons. Time became elastic. The adults escorted us back to class, sheep in a flock, but nothing felt normal. The glass wall stayed curtained for days after. The man lived next to one of my classmates. We walked past his house now and then, eyes a little sharper. Halloween stopped being a joke. Nights felt thinner. Every window could hide a watcher. The fear stuck to us like wet clothes.
We thought it was over. We were wrong. But what happened in the basement of another school was even worse. After college, I came back to my old high school, not as a student, but as an employee. My office was in the basement, a maze of boxes and wires, cold, quiet. But my little corner, comfortable, a desk, a TV, air conditioning, a false sense of safety. I was eating my sandwich when the phone rang. The front office. Their voice shook. Lockdown, possible armed intruder. The words crawled into my chest like ice. The basement had no locks, no doors strong enough to stop anyone, just shadows. I shut off the lights. The hum of electricity died, and then I crouched low, alone, waiting. Minutes passed. I texted my coworkers, no answer. The basement air grew heavy. Every drip of a pipe sounded like thunder. Then it came. The creak of the basement door opening. The long groan of hinges, footsteps slow, heavy. I slid under my desk, my chest hammered, my throat burned. The footsteps stopped in the doorway. No lights, no voice, just silence. Then my phone dinged, a single chime, shattering the stillness like glass. A hand grabbed me, pulled me up. A man, red plaid shirt, black cap, his voice calm.
It's okay. I'm hiding too.
My phone buzzed again. A text from my coworker.
Shooter, red shirt, hat. He shot Mr. Buckley. Don't come upstairs.
I looked at him. He looked back. The truth sat between us. Panic took over. I ran, feet slamming against the stairs. The crack of a gunshot tore the air. Sparks burst as the bullet ricocheted off metal. I burst upstairs. Police swarmed. They tackled him at the exit. Mr. Buckley survived. But me? I'll never forget the sound of that gunshot in the dark. Or the way he smiled before he pulled the trigger.